Welcome to the show. As always, I'm Fran, Excell mindset coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. So today I am going to be talking about overwhelm, which is something I struggle with, I know you struggle with, and everybody else struggles with. So I'm going to have a chat with you about how to get out of overwhelm and into action, because that's the main thing we need to do. So really trying to achieve something big, but feeling overwhelmed and trapped in that state of not doing anything instead, feeling overwhelmed, it can really make you procrastinate. So procrastination, as well as comparison, is the thief of joy. Procrastination will stop you doing those things you really want to and need to do the things and achieve the things that you really want to. So in this context, I'm talking about when you're trying to achieve or create something huge, like starting your business, writing that book you've always wanted to write, decluttering the entire house. All those things where focusing on the overall task seems way too big and way too scary. So it just sits there in the I'd love to do that but list. And you're right there making a ton of excuses as to why you aren't doing it. You know, the whole, I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough. Who am I to do X, Y, and Z? I can't because of X, Y, and Z. Can you relate to any of that? I know you can. If you say no to that question, I know you're lying. So the big things are the hard things, but they make the biggest differences in our lives. So this can be applied to really anything that feels like a huge task and you're stuck feeling overwhelmed and not getting anywhere fast. So you get stuck in this sort of paralysis. You start surfing social media or just one more episode of your favorite Netflix binge. Guilty. And pretty sharpish. You don't take any of the action that you need to, and you stay exactly where you're at. Panic not, my friend. There are a few ways to get yourself through this, and I've got you back. This is something that I talk about all the time. It's a big problem, but it is a very, very solvable problem. So number one, I want you to get clarity. What are you doing and why are you doing it? All right. So the what is the easy part, working through what feels right for you. If you were to explain what you're trying to do to somebody else, would they get it? Does it make sense? Or does it feel like it's a higgledy-piggledy mess in your head that needs to be completely stripped back and worked out? Okay. So have a think about that first. And then the why is for all those moments that you're going to struggle. So what will it get you once it's done? What will your life look like? How will it feel? Connecting to this will get you through all those sticky moments where you feel like you could just quit and just not bother doing it or not start in the first place. So the next stage from that is make a decision. All right. Once you have the clarity around the task at hand, you have to decide to move, to take the action and get going. Think of a time where you've massively procrastinated over something, but as soon as you actually do it, as soon as you manage to get going, then you feel like you're on a roll and there's no stopping you. Those moments, you've just got to push through the initial resistance to it. So I like to use something I call the 15-minute rule. You say, all right, I'll do 15 minutes of this, force myself into those 15 minutes, and then I have complete permission to stop if I feel I need to. More often than not, what you'll find is you get into the flow and you just get going, because the hardest part is just getting going, just moving. And if that doesn't happen and you don't get into flow, you've just done 15 minutes worth of it. So it's a step in the right direction. The next thing I want you to do is ask yourself where the pressure is coming from. Honesty time. Okay. Are you putting self-imposed deadlines on yourself, which is leading to you feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, and under pressure? Do you really have to get it done today? Or could you actually get it done next week? Just be honest with yourself. I am awful for this. I love deadlines. I love sticking to deadlines. I don't tend to miss deadlines. But what that does is puts pressure on me. And actually, I have to check in with myself all the time. I'm very efficient. I like to get things off my to-do list. So I'm certainly always guilty of this one, but I know how to move through it. I know the steps to get going. So I always have to check in and give myself like a gut check and ask if my deadlines are my deadlines, or, because, my deadlines are my decision, okay? Or are they actually someone else's legitimate deadline? Am I just busy being busy? I am busy being busy. What happens if I don't do this one thing? Yeah. So don't focus on the big scary goal that requires all the things. Looking at the task as a whole is always going to feel overwhelming. Look at each individual goal as its own entity. Focus on the now, not the future. Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now is an amazing book because it's all about this concept that the past and the future don't exist. You don't have control over the past. What's done is done. The future's not happened yet. So where do you focus? You focus on the now, and that will help keep you in check. So focus on the tasks that are actually going to move the needle forward and get things done the fastest. Usually it's only a handful of tasks that actually create the majority of the result. Pareto's 80-20 rule is that 20% of the work will lead to 80% of the result. So you've got to break it down. Here's an example I used with one of my clients that had been trying to write a book for about 5 years. Instead of looking at the book as an, OMG, I have to write this whole book, think this way. You have one book. How many chapters is that? How many words per chapter? How many words per day do you need to write to achieve finishing a book in the time frame that you want? Does that make sense? So instead of you telling yourself, I have to write a book today, cue panic, it turns into, I have to write 2,000 words today, which I do pretty much every single time I write a blog. Done in about an hour. To give you another example, we just got the keys to our new house. And as always, you think when you buy something, oh, it's in great nick, whether you're buying or renting or whatever, you think, oh, it looks great, we can just move in, we don't have to decorate at all, it's perfect just as it is. Then the owners move out and you see where every single picture was on the walls, you see all the stairs and the discoloration on the floors, you see the leaky tap, and then you realize you've got a mammoth task ahead. So instead of, OMG, I have to decorate the whole freaking house, freak out, break it down. What rooms are really a priority? We decided that the kitchen is a priority because Tobin's a chef. The kitchen is the hub of our whole house and is always going to be. So if we have people over or people to come help us paint, we need the kitchen to be in good working order so we can actually give somebody a glass of water. This basic stuff. So the kitchen for us was number one priority. And then we broke down the kitchen to walls, cupboards, skirting, things we have to, like the things we have to paint, things we have to fix, all of those things. And then it became all these little tasks that kept getting ticked off the list. So what rooms are really a priority in whatever you're trying to achieve? What needs to be done that is going to be the quickest and easiest way for you to move forward? Just break the task down further and further and further until you can see clearly what needs to be done, rather than focusing on this huge, whole enormous, I don't know where to start kind of task. Just work out the best place to start and then start. So prioritize. This part needs you to get really honest with yourself again about what really actually needs to get done and what is just a distraction. You cannot tackle everything at once, so don't try. There's this myth that as women, multitasking is something that we're great at, but it's a myth. The reality is it's not good for anyone. Your brain doesn't like context switching. It doesn't like flitting between tasks. It actually makes those little tasks take longer and makes you lack focus. So things like if you're sitting there with your computer and there's 30 tabs open and you're getting notifications through on all of them, how much longer is it going to take you to do that one task? Get rid of it. Get rid of the distractions. Prioritize. Get really honest with yourself. And when you look at your list, ask if it's really a priority or if it's even necessary at all. You can get so busy being busy. It's unbelievable. I'm guilty of it all the time as well. I think I have to research that speaking gig, or I have to research this particular person, or whatever it may be. I have to spend an hour on Facebook right at this moment because it's research. Yeah. So be really honest with yourself if it's even necessary at all. So the next one I've got for you is decide whether you're going to eat the frog or the elephant. So this one is up to you. and how you best work and how you will get your own feeling of accomplishment. So there are two schools of thought here. Both are effective. There is no right or wrong. So Brian Tracy wrote the book Eat That Frog. And the concept is that you take the biggest, ugliest, scariest task on your list, the one that you're really procrastinating over, and tackle that first. Then everything else after that feels so much more easy, and you'll have this huge sense of accomplishment for tackling the big, scary task first. And bonus, you'll also grow in confidence because you're thinking to yourself, oh, I can't do this. And you're pushing yourself forward and you're trying and you're trying. And then all of a sudden you've done it and you get this big surge in confidence. It's amazing. So that's one. And the second one, the second school of thought is you can't eat an elephant in one go, but you can one bite at a time. So this is about those small baby steps that combined create the big things. So the question is, which one is going to work for you? Are you more of a pull your big girl pants up and do the tough thing first and power on through? Or do you know that your brain needs a slightly softer touch and slow and steady wins the race? Neither are better or worse. Neither are right or wrong. It's all about being honest with yourself and who you are and how you best work. Give them both a try and see how you get on. See which one works for you. I've been known to do both depending on how my day's been, and that's totally cool too. It's all about taking action in the right way for you, but always taking some action, because otherwise you're going to sit there in self-sabotage, procrastination, not moving anywhere. So the next one I like to talk about a lot is my scary brain dump to-do list. So this is one of my faves because you will have exactly the same amount to do, but the headspace you clear and the time you save from not worrying or procrastinating over all the things that you have to do is invaluable. So split a horizontal page into 3. On the left, write down everything you can think of that you need to do, that, you know, anything, absolutely anything. In the middle, be really, really honest and pick everything that has to be done this week. Okay. So then every single day, when you split the right column into 7, you split it and take 3 things from your middle column and just do those. Just do those. If you get through them super quick, awesome. Feel free to add another one. How productive are you? The sense of achievement you'll feel will be so much better than the usual overwhelm of when you're having a look at your list on the left-hand side and saying, oh my God, I've only achieved 3 things on that list. It's incredible. It's one of my favorites. I've got a template for this over in my Etsy shop, and I will add a link to it. Fran Excell printables, but I'll add a link to it below. Make sure you can get your hands on that. So schedule some specific time to work on this huge thing. What this will do is give you permission to switch off once you're outside of that schedule, instead of feeling guilty for taking time for yourself, which is non-negotiable. You have to take time for yourself. And I am bad for that too sometimes. You must take time for yourself or you will burn out. Trust me, I know. You've got to operate from a full tank. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eat the right things, all of these different things. If you don't, this does make things feel harder. So don't ignore it. That myth that you should work until the early hours and forego sleep and things like that is utter BS. Sleep is one of the most important things that you need. And I'm super strict on getting my 8 hours. That's one thing I am 100% strict on. Think about it. How productive do you really feel when you're tired? Not very productive, right? Listen to your body and stick to your schedule. So many mindset gremlins will get smashed in the process, and you won't feel guilty anymore or distracted from enjoying life when you're not doing all the things. So scheduling a specific time to do this stuff, and also scheduling specific time for yourself, which means that you will then enjoy doing that stuff for yourself. And finally, please remember who's in control here. Don't forget just how much control you have over your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. You've absolutely got this. You just need to believe it 100%. So don't look at this huge task and think, oh my God, how am I ever going to get started? Procrastinate, self-sabotage, not take action. That's what's going to happen. Break it down, use these tips, and actually get this massive task achieved and feel incredible afterwards. So I hope that was really, really helpful. As always, I will see you next week. Bye.